Hey, this is Bass Clef.
I'm Tommy Trash.
We are Psych and Sugar Star.
Hey, this is Dirty South.
Hi, we're TV Rock.
Hey, it's Corsi here on HQtv, rocking it.
Let the bass kick.
This man has come all the way from Melbourne, John Course, to launch the Vicious Cuts 2009 CD. Massive, massive CD. Welcome back to the club, mate.
Good to be back, mate. It's not that far from Melbourne. It's not all the way. It's just across the border thing.
It's actually a 45-minute plane ride. Tell us a little bit about Vicious Cuts 2009 and how it came together.
I've been doing the session CD for Ministry of Sound the last couple of years, but this year I decided to take a break. And instead of doing that, I wanted to do a CD for our own label. So just a chance to showcase, I guess, some of the things that we've got going on with Vicious, some international signings, and we got Ian Carey on the case because obviously his tune Get Shaky's been massive. And we put that out in Australia, so we're like, hey mate, you want to come over, do a tour, mix a CD, give him some love. Gave him a little Platinum Record Award because that song's been massive. So yeah, it's been good.
So where did Vicious begin? Because a lot of people don't know that yourself and Andy are the boss, basically, of Vicious. How did it all start and when did it all start?
So it basically started in a shed in a suburb of Melbourne called Frankston. Myself and Andy had a studio set up that we started trying to make music when we were just young bucks. Again, we probably had no idea, but you know, we just wanted to give it a go and it just grew from there. We had an act called Ground Level back in the early days. One of our first records we did was with a unknown DJ called Carl Cox. First time he ever come to Australia, he went in the studio with me and Mark James and we all made a track together. We put that out on the label. That was release number 3.
Eternal?
Eternal, yeah, that's the one. As the dance music thing grew, the label grew. And then I guess our first really major success was Madison Avenue. Madison Avenue was massive, but I mean, that's Andy, who's my partner in the label anyway. So, you know, obviously things like that help along the way. But anybody who's into dance music, if you've been in it for as long as we have, and yourself as well, we didn't start off to do it because it was like, oh, wow, it's cool to be a DJ. And we just did it because we loved it. And the label was the same thing. I don't think we turned a profit for about 9 years or something. I think early 2000 was the first time that the numbers actually added up. We still do a lot of underground stuff. We've got a guy called Mick Newman that we manage, and we also put out his music. Sean Quinn, a long-time Melbourne DJ with a guy called Gus Cullen, have got a new record coming out, Getting Away With It, which we got, you know, we think is really going to rock it. So we've got some old school ties, we've got some new people, a new guy from Sweden called Avicii signed to us, another guy from Malaysia called Angademus, which is going to do some cool stuff. So we're kind of, you know, still hanging around there, and it's just about getting good music out and finding people who are into it.
How and where do you find this talent? I mean, if you're a young artist and you want something on Vicious, how do people go about it?
Well, I guess most of the stuff that we've found, even though we do accept demos from people, we've hardly ever signed records from straight up demos, because most of the time a lot of the demos that you get in the mail, they're just quite not up to par. Most of the music we've signed through DJs, or through a network. So I might go and play at a gig in Queensland or in Adelaide, and the other DJ who works there will give me a track and I'll listen to it and we'll kind of find stuff from there. Obviously we get a lot of demos, so it's hard to get back to everybody. And one thing we definitely don't want is DJ demos, because we're not a booking agency. And you know, a lot of people, especially in the day of the remix, they kind of get mixed up between an original record and a remix. So I guess the best advice I can give young producers out there is, you know, great to do your bootlegs or whatever, and great to do stuff that you can play in your own set that makes it unique. But there's no point sending us, you know, a Kings of Leon bootleg. A, we can't put it out, and B, we've got so much new music that we're probably not even going to listen to it to kind of get an idea. We're much more interested in hearing 1 or 2 tracks that are original, that we can judge. We don't want to hear 10. If you can't decide which 10 are the best and boil it down to 1, why the hell should we? You know what I mean? So if you're making stuff, I reckon get your best 2 tracks, chuck them on a disc, send them in to us, or hook us up via our info@vicious.com.au, MySpace or whatever, and somebody in the office will hear it. You know, we'll try and get back to everybody, but you know, we do get a lot of unsolicited material, so it's hard to keep hitting everybody up. And another bit of advice I would say is you don't need to hype it. Don't tell us it's the best thing ever. You'd be amazed at some of the letters that we get telling us it's the best record that we've ever heard and we need to sign it. Just let us hear it. Don't give us the hype, because you can't hype the hypers. One
thing I've always wanted to ask you, what is the best thing about your lifestyle being a travelling DJ, and what's the worst thing?
I think the best thing is just, you know, we love what we do, so being able to do it and get paid to travel around the world and do it is like, you know, it doesn't get any better than that. Once you land and you're at the venue and you're with the people that you're playing for and you're playing to, it's amazing. That's the best thing. And the worst thing is getting there.
One thing we were talking about before was 2 of the biggest nights ever in the history of HQ you've been involved in, mate. What's the deal there? You're pretty popular here in Adelaide, aren't you? Especially at HQ.
Maybe you're just promoting me well. I don't know. No, it's nice to hear that, you know. I don't know whether or not it was maybe just holidays and I got lucky. I'm not sure, but I guess, you know, look, if you play around all around the country, eventually you've got to have some crackers somewhere, don't you?
It's always here in Adelaide. John Course, Vicious Cuts 2009. Go out and buy it. Thanks for being on HQtv.
My pleasure. See you guys. Thanks for the support.